So, I'm going to start this off by stating the obvious. I haven't uploaded anything in 7 months, and or even less streaming right there, too. If anything, you can consider it mostly a soft retirement. Whether or not I go complete with it depends kind of on how the next season goes. And I'm not going to say it's all because of this latest season, but I haven't really been happy with a lot of the changes of this season at all, like more than any other season ever. Mostly it's just because I'm really tired of things changing so dramatically, or if anything, I just kind of want the jungle to be static for once, so I can make plans and do whatever. And even when I wanted to come back, the changes to Fiddlesticks were actually really disappointing for me. Because as you guys know, he was one of my favorite trolley champions, and I just kind of didn't like what they did with him. And among other things. But it mostly stems from, some sort of depression that I've been dealing with. Like, if you guys remember a few years ago with my whole messy divorce, I got super in a rut. I couldn't really upload. It was kind of downhill from there, right? A lot of things suffered in that moment. But essentially the same thing happened in October with another breakup, and I got really depressed. However, it wasn't as self-destructive as before, but it did make me realize something. When I've been playing League of Legends, or pretty much MOBAs in general, I've been playing several games for every day or every now and then, and a lot of the games just weren't fun. But maybe one in every five would be ridiculously fun. But it sort of became a thing like, is it worth going through three, four mediocre games to have that one really good game? It felt more like a drug situation where you're just kind of, taking it until you feel some kind of high. And same thing, some of my friends admitted that when they're playing like Dota 2, they'll play a couple games and they'll realize they're not having any fun. And then they'll have that one game that just, makes them feel real good, either because they stomp or because it was exciting and thrilling. But those are rare, and sometimes in your play sessions, they don't happen at all. So you just kind of wasted time that day. Playing the game to do nothing, essentially. And that kind of became very apparent with League of Legends. I was playing a few games during the stream, and maybe only one of them was good quality. There was just a lot of things going wrong with it. Either it was just boring all around, nothing exciting happened, even if I won or if I lost. If we won, sometimes it was because of a ridiculous stomp, because there was a Smurf in the team that was just dominating everyone, or because the enemy team just didn't know what to do, or no cohesion, or some troll, and vice versa. And the games that would be really exciting, those would be the ones I remember. But there came a point where I wasn't uploading anything because I didn't feel compelled enough that some of the videos or some of the games I was playing were video worthy. It's like, how could I feel good about uploading a video in which the game just wasn't that good? There was nothing to take from it. Not really that much, that much in terms of playmaking or decision making or anything. So the game quality for me in whatever elo I was playing at just kind of, got bogged down by all the mediocre games that were being thrown there. We've already seen a lot of complaining going on by pros and former pros in that, it's just sometimes solo queue just straight out isn't fun. You deal with it because you kind of have to. If I know some people feel like they're sort of jailed into playing League of Legends because, it became a job situation for them. And I admit it became a job situation for me in the past, which is why I tried finding a different job so I can try to bring back some of the fun. But yeah, you have just moments where you have to deal with somebody just ruining the quality of your game, trolls and whatnot. And it's just always been a situation like, I remember a couple of years ago, and some of you who've been watching my stream for the longest time might actually remember this game, where I was playing, I believe it was Xin Zhao, and I had a Twisted Fate mid lane, and he was taking all the chickens and all the wolves while I was doing them. And when I told them off, to stop doing that, they just started, making a bunch of comments. And person was a streamer, and then they started to troll because they were losing their mid lane. And when I told them off that they shouldn't have done any of that, and it was a real asshole move to do, the fans came to attack me on my own stream. And ever since then, I've had this thing plaguing me in the back of my head. Like, I don't want any of that. That ruins my entire day. So if you guys recall, I started uploading a lot of videos with my other accounts, not the Stonewall008 name, because I just didn't want people to recognize me. I wanted to go in anonymous as much as I could, and it worked for a while. But eventually just things happen. If you ever get recognized as a streamer, you might get trolled, you might get unnecessary comments. Some people just act really weird. And if I have one bad game and someone's like, oh, Stonewall, you should have fucking quit when you had the chance, and that kind of stuff is demoralizing. People just cannot be assholes. And it's all, and I'm not gonna state that immediately if I tried I would go to challenger level or whatever, but I always had this thing in my mind that I don't want to get high enough in the ranks where I have to play with a bunch of other streamers and just constantly be in the target reticules of a bunch of rando viewers who don't know any better. Because there's streamers who behave well, there's streamers who are good people. I've known and talked to some of them, but the fans. And sorry to say it, I'm not singling anybody out, but sometimes there's some fans or some obsessive fans, better to say there, who are go a little too far, like white knighting. And I don't mean girl streamers per se or at all, because there's some people who are super adamant about protecting the streamer they watch, regardless of gender or whatever. So I just got super disheartened to try really hard. And again, I'm not going to say that I would immediately gone to Challenger. The highest I ever got was Diamond. And as of late, I've mostly been around Plat 5. The game left me behind. I didn't keep up with it. Hard truth for myself is that when I let myself get super down after the divorce, I didn't try very hard anymore. And I didn't keep up with the changing strategies or learning all the new mechanics coming out there or the exact numbers. So I was definitely behind for the longest time. And of course, now with my absence of playing, I'm definitely behind. So jumping back in right now would be even harder. But yeah, I'm not truly happy with a lot of the changes they've made either. Not quite happy with some of the champions they've released with some wonky ass mechanics or the changes to Fiddlesticks. He was one of my favorite trolley champions, and I don't feel the changes were all that cool to him. And the changes to jungle, just in general, I wish I could have something more static rather than some of this RNG nonsense that I have to sort of deal with now. Because jungling was already super stressful, and they always change it, and then they make it suffer. In some metas, it's strong. In some metas, it's weak. But every time, no matter what, people will always blame you. So after a certain point, the being upset over some life situation became more compounded by all the other stuff people have been doing in these games. It's just I need to step away from this toxicity. So I've just been playing a bunch of other games, mostly single-player games, having fun by myself, having fun with some friends in co-op, just sort of doing random shenanigans. And it's worked out well. My mood has changed. I'm more mellowed out. I kind of needed a long vacation. And like I said, it's a soft retirement, so maybe someday I return. Although at this point, I'm pretty sure my return would be mostly like a blip. I know I still have some fans who would care to see me return, but if I'm being honest with myself and with you guys, after I had made my other return, obviously viewership dropped and, it steadily declined and subscribers have lost, and that's just sort of the way it goes, right? The decline. But like I mentioned, I enjoyed uploading regardless and making those videos just because it gave me something to do and something to be creative with. Because if I was to be very honest, prior to YouTube, when I was just a college student, I would just go to college, then come home and just do my homework and then do nothing or play video games. But there was no artistic expression. But once I started doing the videos, once I started writing and doing all that stuff, it felt fulfilling. And so even if I wasn't making any more money, even if I couldn't put out as much of an effort as I used to with the in-depth videos and such, it was still a pretty fun distraction to give myself to be creative and to talk and rant and, just have that. But either way, in all honesty, thank you guys for having stuck with me for the longest time. And if this is the retirement video you guys have been waiting for, then let it be so. And if it's not, if I come back again, then just this video just serves you as an update video, right? But yeah, I appreciate everything. And, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for having made the last, honestly, decade worth, well, making the last decade worth going through, even through all its downs. Thank you.